Calling to order the Monday, October 20th, 2014, regular meeting of the 35th Council of the City of Berkeley. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Baker.
Here.
Councilmember Blanchard.
Here.
Councilmember Edgar.
Here.
Councilmember Kadekel.
Here.
Councilmember Stedman.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Turbrack.
Here.
And Mayor O'Dwyer.
Here. The first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move to approve tonight's agenda. Support.
Move to approve by Councilmember Kadekel with support by Councilmember Baker. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll?
Blanchard.
Yes.
Edgar.
Yes.
Kadekel.
Yes.
Stedman.
Yes.
Turbrack.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
O'Dwyer.
Yes. And now please stand for the invocation. Deacon Brian Carroll is with us.
O good and gracious God, we give you thanks for all the good gifts you give us. We give you thanks for the gifts you give us of each other. We thank you for this fine fall weather. We give you thanks that you were with us during the troubles of the floods, and you were in our hearts to support us. We ask your blessing this evening on this council meeting, that the discussions be kind and gentle and to the point, and the decisions be for the building up of your people of the city of Berkeley. And let us all say, Amen.
And please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we come to the Citizens' Comments portion of tonight's meeting, when you may present your thoughts on issues that are not included on tonight's agenda. Council members will not engage you in discussion. If your concern needs to be addressed by a department of the city or a member of city staff, please sign your name on the sheet provided at the clerk's table. You may speak on a specific agenda item when it is being considered. When you come to the microphone, please state your name and city of residence.
Good evening. My name is Judy Rubin, and I live in Huntington Woods. I'm the executive director of the Tri-Community Coalition. I'm here actually on for three things, to invite you to our 16th annual leadership breakfast. We're going to be having keynote speaker Stephen Henderson, who is a Pulitzer Prize-winning Detroit Free Press journalist, and that will be on November 7th. It's Friday morning. I know it's early, but 7:30. Wonderful breakfast, and it's going to be in Berkley Specialty Showroom, and which is located at 2800 West 11 Mile Road. We'll also be honoring Joanne and Scott Sayre, two very wonderful volunteers for the coalition. They've been with the coalition for many years and have helped raise a lot of money, so I hope you'll join us. You should have all received hard invitations, but pass them along, bring friends. It's going to be a very wonderful morning. I encourage you to join us. Secondly, as you know, the Tri-Community Coalition is a substance abuse prevention nonprofit for Berkeley, Huntington Woods, and Oak Park. So on the proposed charter amendment, I hope that the citizens of Berkeley will send a clear message about marijuana and vote no on that proposed charter amendment, which would decriminalize marijuana in Berkeley. Let's be clear, marijuana use is not legal. State and federal law supersedes local laws, and even if it passes, marijuana use will still be illegal. I think I have the chief's back on that. And the third item on my agenda is we have been nominated to win $30,000 through an Aetna Voices of Health competition, and I'm asking you to show your support by voting for us by going to our website, and then you have to click on Aetna's Voices of Health. It is a little difficult to navigate, I will admit to you, but We still could use your help, so go to www.tricommunitycoalition.org and show your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Seeing no one else coming to the microphone, then we move on to the consent agenda. Ms. Boucher, would you please read the items on tonight's consent agenda?
Approve of the minutes, matter of approving the minutes of the regular 35th City Council meeting on Monday, October 6, 2014. Approve of the warrant, matter of approving warrant number 1283.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Blanchard.
Support.
Support by Councilmember Stedman. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll on the consent agenda?
Edgar,
Yes.
Kadeco,
Yes.
Stedman,
Yes.
Turbrack,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Blanchard,
Yes.
O'Dwyer.
Yes. And now, Ms. Boucher, would you please read item number 1 on tonight's regular agenda?
Recognitions, presentations, matter of any recognitions or presentations from the consent agenda.
Seeing no recognitions, then please, would you read item number 2?
Resolution number R3614, matter of approving a resolution of the City Council of the City of Berkley, Michigan, to approve a contractor agreement with Richard M. Eschman as the Director of the Public Safety Department for the period of 10/22/14 through 10/21/17.
Is there a motion to approve R3614?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by
Support.
Councilmember Blanchard, support by Mayor Pro Tem Turbrack. Mr. Sessa.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I really don't have too much more to add as to what the city clerk just read, except to say that I sincerely hope that you would consider this contract favorably. Both myself and the city attorney have reviewed this item. It is for a 3-year period. However, it does have some provision for renewal if the city council so chooses. This is an at-will position. The city attorney also made a few other minor adjustments to the contract to make some clarification on that matter. But other than that, the contract is as you saw the last time. Again, we do recommend favorable consideration. And with us this evening is our Director of Public Safety, Chief Eschman. Council, all I can say is that it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with him. He's been our director at least for the last 12 years, and thanks to him, our Public Safety Department has done an amazing job. I'm very proud to say that our city is one of is Michigan's 5th safest cities for cities at least a little over 10,000 in population. And a lot of credit, I believe, is due to our Director of Public Safety. He's done an amazing job. And with that, we are here to answer any questions that you may have. Chief Eschman, I don't know if you'd like to add anything else or just help me answer any questions. City Council.
Is there any discussion on this item or comments? Councilor Blanchard.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd just like to make a comment. I'd say that I've worked with him very closely for a number of years and find him to be a true professional. He's done an excellent job. And he has developed this department into an excellent department with a lot of potential. There's plans moving forward, and everything is well on track the way I think it should be. So I highly recommend that this be passed.
Any, Mayor Pro Tem Turbrack.
I have not worked as closely as Councilmember Blanchard has with the chief, but I have worked with the chief on a number of items, and I would certainly agree with everything that you said, Jack. Certainly the utmost professional, highest standards, and for me, you know, a happy department. The guys and the girls are happy. They certainly respect you. They respect the job that you do, and they understand that you have to make tough choices and tough decisions, and they respect those decisions. And to me, that is a critical aspect of leadership, and that's vital to why we have such a great department, as Jane mentioned, why we're the 5th safest city. All of those things are factors, so I certainly wholeheartedly endorse this as well.
Anybody else? Any additional comments?
Ditto.
Well, basically,
Ditto.
yes. I think what has been said is representative of the thoughts of every member of the council and the residents of this city. We are enormously proud that you are our chief.
Thank you.
Seeing no additional discussion, Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll on R3614?
Kadeco,
Yes.
Stedman,
That's the chief, man. What are you doing? Don't drive in the
Stedman.
city.
Stedman,
Yes.
Turbrack,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Blanchard,
Yes.
Edgar,
Yes.
O'Dwyer.
Yes. Thank you, Chief. I don't know if you want to say anything.
Yes, I would
Go ahead.
say something. City manager used the words I would use. It's an honor and a privilege to have been here. I'm very flattered by the continuing offer. I've always found that this is kind of like a sporting event or a sports team, to use an analogy. I'm just one little piece of it, just like a player coach piece of it. It takes management above, and the council and the mayor have always been very supportive, strong advocates for our department, and that set the stage for our successes. City manager has provided the leadership style which is best suited to what we do. Once in a while, when I give her the tough answers to her questions, sometimes she'll wince, but we get through it, and everything has worked out very, very well. So thank everyone here for that leadership. When I start going down the wrong path, Dan Christ or John Steran, the city attorneys, will push me back into the right direction. The employees here, both sworn officers and civilians, are tremendous, tireless workers. Total team players. That's necessary. The volunteers, whether it be police reserve, volunteer fighter fighters led by Councilman Blanchard, tremendous assets, and we appreciate all of that. The residents and business people are very trusting in us. They're always forthcoming, forthright in providing information. That's invaluable to us. It provides us what we need to do what we have to do. I guess it's that synergistic effect of all of these components working in unison that has provided us with the product on the field. So it's a privilege to serve. I'm flattered by it. I thank you, everyone, and we will continue to provide the service that you've come to expect and you deserve.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And now we come. And now we come to the communications portion of tonight's meeting. Ms. Boucher, who's up first?
Stedman,
I'm up
Councilmember
first.
Stedman is up first.
Is this where we talk about the convention?
You have the
Okay.
floor.
We went to a convention, three of us, four of us actually. He flew, we drove.
Arms are still tight.
In northern Michigan at Marquette, Northern Michigan University, and it was very nice. I went to a couple of, or several workshops, it was, all the information was good. They seem to have quite an emphasis on placemaking and on crowdfunding and civic involvement and so on in placemaking. One of the things that they had said was placemaking, you have to really think like a developer. You have to have regulations that will accommodate developers so that they can get things done in a timely manner and so on. What they want, all developers want predictability, and they want a clear vision, and they want a reasonable time frame. But the best developers want evidence of master plans with a broad support and a vision, planning commission and council on the same page, community support, can get approved, all of the things that they want approved in a timely manner, and truly a partnership. I think we really have that here in Berkeley. And so it was nice to see some of that verified as I was listening to the things that were going on. Then I went to another workshop on civic engagement and getting people involved, and I think we had an A in that one too, getting people involved. But I had this book that I'll leave, with the City Hall. And it was basically talking about various examples from across the state on what people do to get people involved. Then they talked about conventional planning, which is what most cities do, versus form planning and the coding process. I'm not going to get into explaining all this right now. This is a chart on how the old way of planning, how long it takes, how many steps there are, and so on. And this is the form-based planning, where you look at what you want your use to be first, and you kind of base your regulations on that, rather than on other regulations. So, and the crowdfunding, I'm also gonna, I have these to pass out to everybody here, not everybody out there, everybody up here. And there's 2 sheets that you can take. One is on this, and one is on crowdfunding. And it tells you some definitions, but basically crowdfunding has made it possible for investors to invest smaller amounts of money in their own community, not be a big-time certified investor. I'm not sure exactly how to explain all of it, but you can go out and you can invest a couple $1,000s in your neighbor's brand-new entrepreneurship business here in Berkeley, and that would be legal now, whereas in the past it has not been. So take 2 of these and pass them down. But it allows all Michigan residents to invest in Michigan businesses, and it allows non-accredited businesses to invest up to $10,000 in a single business once per year, and you can invest in more than one business. It's very good for small businesses and for a community like Berkeley. And then we went on a tour of Presque Isle, which was a little tedious, but it was very beautiful. And that was because we didn't sign up for the ones we actually really wanted in time. However, it turned out to be a really, really nice tour. They have mobile tours on these events. Let's see. I'm going to close with the convention for now, with a quote. I'm not sure whether I heard it at a workshop or a general meeting or whatever, but whenever you plan an event, remember this: give people name tags and they will be nicer. So. The other thing is the library, and I have that right here. There's some events coming up that are really interesting. One of them, Lost Detroit, which is Stories Behind the Motor City Majestic Ruins. And I've never really heard them called majestic ruins, but there are some very majestic ruins in the city of Detroit. That's Monday, November 10th at 6:30. Learn the Art of Origami. That's Monday, November 17th at 6:30. And Sears Homes of Berkeley. That would be really interesting. I'm sure everybody here knows what Sears catalog homes were, where you ordered your home through a catalog and they came out and built it the way it was in the catalog. And they're beautiful homes. A lot of the Tudors are Sears homes. And that is going to be Tuesday, December 9th at 6:30 p.m. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Blanchard.
Thank you, Your Honor. I also attended the convention, and I'll give you a little rundown. At the convention, they have a number of workshops, and we all select different ones so that we get a better, broader view, and then we compare notes after they're over with. The general sessions started out with the parade of flags, and our own Councilman Kadekel led the parade of flags because Alpena didn't show up, and B was the first one, and so he led the parade of flags through the Roman. That's a good picture of him, and he didn't get lost. We at one of the first general sessions, talked a lot about different places, things that communities had done, and I think Berkeley was mentioned 4 times for the things that we've been doing, especially the Robina project and some of those things. So a lot of people at this convention know who Berkeley is, and we're well represented, and we get out there and tell everybody our story. There was the Community Excellence Award presentations. That was where the regions nominate a project, and it's voted out by all the members. And this year, the winning project was from Harbor Beach, and it was a dredging project, very innovative. Some people did parks. They did a dredging project for their marina. They tried to get a contractor to dredge their marina, and they found out that it was way more than they could afford or the state could afford. So a little town of Harbor Beach, about 1,700 people, went out and bought a barge, bought a backhoe, and dredged it themselves. And they did it faster. They provided employment for 4 people. When the project was done, they had the barge, they had the backhoe, and they saved the state $70,000. So these are the kind of things we hear about, these things, and they're just good ideas of innovation that you can do if you start to think out of the box. We had a workshop, or a general session on the art of building great communities. We had a workshop on why good hackers make good citizens by Code for America. That was very interesting, and Council Baker probably talk more about it than I can, but a quick summary was, you don't need to hire a big company to do your software. You can go to the local university and find a couple of PhD students in IT and give them a focus and let them do it, and they can probably do a better job in about 8 weeks and save you an awful lot of money. So I thought that was very interesting. And then the role of arts in creative placemaking was another one that was good. I attended 3 sessions. I attended Your Charter Refreshed, which covered all the procedures necessary to revise the city charter. We don't need to update our charter, but I wanted to see, this was based on what Marquette did. They had 78 errors in their charter and the whole process that they went through to do that. I wanted to learn that in case we have to do that. I went to another section called Current Grants and Loans for paying for road and utility projects, which covered many of the grant and loans that are offered by the state and the federal government. They had people there from many different agencies that were explaining how to write grants and what they're covered and what the matches were. Some are 50%, some are 70%, some are 80%, some are 100%. So that was also quite interesting. So as we do a project, we have to think about what grants may be out there and what help we can get. The last one I went to was A Storm of Reform, the Affordable Care Act. And it's superior strategies for healthcare reform and cost control. And the guy that presented it had nothing to say but bad news as far as what's happening, as far as the impact on cities and the impact on costs. Some health plan increases in the coming year for cities may vary between 32% and 76% increases. But there are ways we could work around that, and that's why we went to these things, and I brought back a bunch of information which I provided the city manager and for the finance director. So it was very interesting, very informative. We learned a lot and met a lot of people, and it was well worthwhile. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was also very humbled to be joined by 3 of my colleagues at the convention last week up in Marquette, and Berkeley was very well represented. And we did have that ability to, like you said, kind of fan out and cover the different forums and panel discussions and things like that to bring back this material for our residents and for us to see how and in what ways we can apply it. And I also have a nice stack of stuff to give to you after the meeting. So that was good. A couple of quick things. From that perspective, this is I'm now entering my 3rd and final year on the Board of Trustees for the League, so it's been and continues to be a great honor to be a part of shaping these kinds of events and lining up the speakers and the kinds of content that we have. And we really are looking forward to the year ahead that we have for us with the kind of programming materials that can build on this momentum, this energy that not only Berkeley has, but across the state, the kinds of things that we see, the opportunities to share ideas. To the notion of the Code for America piece, my colleague is exactly right. Some of the innovative ideas involve new levels of trust and partnership than we've seen in the past from the public sector as well as the private sector and the education sector. They have an expression called open data. And what we mean by open data is providing access to information that may seem boring or dull on its own, but given folks the creative opportunity to mash this information together for certain purposes, they can come up with some really inventive ideas. There's a trend called, a thing called hackathons right now. And hackathons are a positive event. It's like usually a weekend where like 2 or 3 people, college age or otherwise, will get together as part of a coordinated event. And they will come in with an idea, and they will come out of a long weekend, nonstop, whole weekend kind of thing, like 2 or 3 days long, they'll come out of that with the working software, with code. So instead of just having an idea and bantering around saying, well, we ought to do this someday, they actually just do. They go there, they bring sleeping bags and lots of power adapters for their computers and things, and come out of there with working software. It gives them a chance to learn and grow and code and experience that kind of a thing, and it really creates additional assets. And so those things can really be benefited from having access to information. So those are some things that the public as well as the private sector are really looking to provide that access. The last thing that I'll offer from the convention was the legislative principles. This was one of the things that was covered during one of the business meetings. And I won't read through the whole document, but what I'd like to do is at least identify what the themes are that we have principles around. So the notion of legislative principles, these are kinds of legislation and initiatives across the state. Where does the league stand? Where do we stand as a municipality in moving forward with these things? And so the principles include physical design and walkability, entrepreneurship, transportation, cultural and economic development, environmental sustainability, information technology and telecommunications, diversity and inclusion, education, regional collaboration, municipal finance and services, and transparency. So those are the themes or the aspects within which the league's taken a position, and it's a brief but well-written material that describes where we stand on these kinds of things. We'll make this available. It's also on the MML website, that kind of stuff. So that was great. That was great. And it was Napoleon Hill, who was an American motivational writer, who once said, "First comes thought, then organization of that thought into ideas and plans, then transformation of those plans into reality. The beginning, as you will observe, is in your imagination." And so when we think about the kinds of things that we do and we talk about here, these little ideas, somebody has to just bing that little spark of a thought, right? The best ideas come from those little thoughts. I had some other notes in here about the first transcontinental telegram was sent this week back in 1861, 153 years ago. Just someone had an idea. Boy, it'd be great to be able to send some information. Also this week, back in 1879, which was 135 years ago, Thomas Edison successfully demonstrated the light bulb, got the light bulb working, right? What a cool, so you just had an idea, hey, it would be cool to be able to read at night without candles. You know, I don't know if that's actually what he thought of, but to me that seems to make sense, you know. Cuts down on the house fires and all that stuff for sure. But somehow he had an idea, and that led to this, right? All it takes is that little spark of imagination. First comes that thought, then organization of that thought into ideas and plans, then transforming those plans into reality. And the beginning, again, is just with our imagination. So please share your ideas. You guys, the folks in the room, us on council, the residents, the business owners, the volunteers, you have ideas. It doesn't take a big, huge idea, just a little spark of something. Add that into the conversation and help us continue to move the city forward and continue to do the great things that we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Turbrack.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That spark that you just mentioned, as I mentioned in our last meeting, one of our younger residents, Daniel Richmond, who's 7 years old, second grader at Angel, is having his Daniel's garage sale this Saturday as part of our Berkley Community Craft Show. It's Saturday, October 25th, and the Parks and Rec has donated space to Daniel to have his garage sale, and what he had was a little spark. This young man was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 2, retinoblastoma, and he is since he's in remission now, and he does not no longer has cancer. But he had the spark to try to help kids who are coping with cancer and how they deal with this just incredibly difficult, painful, stressful situation. And he's had a few ideas, and one of them was that he would donate all of his toys to kids with cancer to help them cope with that. And his dad said, well, that's a very nice idea, but, some of those toys might be used, and you might want your toys too, and we certainly appreciate it. So let's see what else we can do. And Daniel came up with another idea. Well, let's have a garage sale, and let's raise money that we can donate to this nonprofit, Kids Kicking Cancer. And what Kids Kicking Cancer does, helps kids with cancer manage stress and pain of their treatments through martial art techniques. And it has been very beneficial, and Daniel has been involved in this, and that's sparked him to figure out how he can help these kids. And you know, he's only 7 years old, but he's had certainly a very difficult time in his life that has strengthened him, and it's made him want to help these kids, and that's fantastic. And we're very lucky to have him in our community. And I want to thank the Parks and Rec Department and the city for allowing him to hold his garage sale at the same time as our craft show, and to rent the space without having to pay any rent, which is certainly very nice. If you can stop by, I know there's a football game on at 3:30, but it's probably not going to be a great game, unfortunately, for those who are on the blue side of the fence. But you can get to the garage sale 9 to 3 before that. And one of the great things, they had a goal of raising $1,000 to donate, and they've already exceeded that goal. And they also have a donor who is going to match, at least from what I understand, match whatever is raised there. So if you have anything that you would like to donate to Daniel in his garage sale, you can certainly find all the information online. I gave it to you last time. I'm having technical difficulties right now. The internet doesn't seem to want to work on my iPad anymore. And there was an article in the paper, in the Eccentric yesterday, that actually details a lot of Daniel's story and what he's doing and how he's coping with these things. So if you have not checked that out, go to the Eccentric. I think you can just go to hometownlife.com and it'll pop up there. Type in the information. You can read that article and try to get out and support Daniel and support our craft show on Saturday. And both of those events are at the community center. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Edgar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say what a pleasure it was and a privilege to be able to attend the State of the City, hear our distinguished mayor speak, hear the mayor of Huntington Woods speak, to see our amazing color guard. It was so impressive. Our men were amazing. The whole room was silent. It was an enlightening event to hear what went on in Huntington Woods as far as the flood went, to realize that we were not alone, that there were many, many communities that were devastated by this, and although it doesn't make it any better, I guess there's comfort in knowing that we're not alone. I want to encourage people, again, as Mayor Pro Temp suggested, to attend the craft show this weekend. It should be fun. The weather should be lovely. And I wish everyone a very happy and safe Halloween.
Thank you. Councilmember Kadecki.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In addition to the craft show, this Saturday is going to be the Moms to Moms sale at the Berkley High School at the same time, so you can go back and forth to either one. I plan on being at both of those and supporting the Berkley Huntington Woods Youth Assistance as well as the Parks and Rec Craft Show. Speaking about MML, Councilmember Blanchard's been teasing me that I didn't get lost when carrying the flag. I had the opportunity of a lifetime to lead the entire state astray. However, I chose to do what I always do, to do what's best. So we made it through that. MML was fantastic. They have a great staff. They have great leaders throughout the organization. I, too, attended different breakout sessions, but what I really like about it is you get to interact with different cities, municipalities, villages, city managers, mayors, council people, and you can bring back ideas and trade ideas with the different cities, as you've heard some of those ideas tonight. And I know the mayor is going to be leaving for the National League of Cities in the not-too-distant future, and it just gives us another opportunity to hear what people are doing across the country. So I'm glad we're members of both of those. One of the sessions I attended was led by my distinguished colleague, Councilmember Baker, and did a fantastic job. And it's nice to be there and see you sitting up as a trustee and representing our city. And I thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
Don't forget we won't be having another council meeting before, so November 4th is Election Day. I want to wish all the candidates a lot of good luck, and hopefully it'll be a bright, sunny day for that. And before, there was a vote taken for the chief, and I could tell you the hesitation may have been in jest, but the yes vote was definitely a thank you for all the work you've done. You've heard the word respect, but it's not just from people in City Hall, it's from the entire community, and I thank you. And before our next council meeting, Councilmember Blanchard's going to be celebrating a birthday. I think it's 35. So I want to wish him a very happy birthday. And again, a happy and safe Halloween. Remember to use your flashlights and, look both ways before you cross the street. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Sessa.
Commissioner Mayor, I really don't have much to add. I think everybody's done an excellent job. I guess the one thing I would just like to say is thank you to all of you for your work. Again, attending this conference has always been one of the most important things that I encourage our councils to do, to learn. I attend many of these sessions myself, but it's so refreshing to hear you all speak on these various matters. Councilman Baker, I cannot thank you enough for your work on the MML board. You represent our city very well, and thanks to your work, I'm glad to hear that our city was mentioned throughout the conference. And with all due respect, Councilman, I'm pretty sure that's to you, your credit. I mean, we thank you very much.
I'm just saying all the great things that you and the team have helped put together. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for including us and making sure that we're mentioned. I know you sent me emails back and forth, and Council and Mr. Mayor, Councilman Baker was very adamant to making sure that our city was mentioned. We don't really toot our horns really loud like a lot of cities, and I'm just so proud of all the work that we do. At the state of the city, I think you could have heard a pin drop at the mayor's presentation. Mr. Mayor, you did an amazing job. It was excellent, and thank you for all your work, sir. Very, very well. It just made us even more proud of our community. So, to the folks that are out there listening to our meeting this evening, please go to our website at www.berkleymish.org. You can get more information about many of the items that were discussed this evening, and of course, especially to FEMA, we still have all our updates on our website, and people can hear the latest and greatest. I've spoken to a few residents, and they've given nothing but praise in their dealings with FEMA reps. Many of them have already been received their financial assistance or whatever, but they've spoken very highly of FEMA. We too, as a city, have met with FEMA reps, and so far the process has been very good. Staff and I are working to gather the information, and I'm hoping that before the end of this week it'll be done, and we'll be able to submit everything, all the forms and all the information they require. So far so good. FEMA has done an excellent job, in my opinion, in helping us work to address this issue. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, City Council.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. At our last council meeting, we adjourned to a closed session to do the evaluation of the city manager. I'd like to thank the City Council for their diligence and attention to detail in this annual evaluation. It was a thorough and thoughtful review of the achievements of the year and the areas that remain for growth. I suppose my summary to the residents is that while Mr. Sessa is not perfect, unlike the rest of us, she is a competent city manager and manages the business of the city in an excellent way, and is one of the chief reasons that our city is doing so well in so many areas. So, Mr. Sess, on behalf of the residents of Berkley and this City Council, I'd like to thank you for your continued contribution to Berkley, and we look forward to continuing that relationship with you. And the election is coming up, by the way, of course, as was mentioned already, November 4th. We provide every opportunity for people to vote quickly and get their business done without a whole lot of delay. And I'd like to thank our city clerk for making that such a positive experience for people. And I want to encourage our residents to vote, but beyond voting, to think about the power of the vote and the importance of the decisions we all make when we cast our ballot. You are making decisions for all of us when you make that call. So my encouragement is to put a lot of thought into this and vote through the whole ballot so that you use every piece of power you have to influence our state and nation. With regard to Michigan Municipal League, we had 4 wonderful representatives of the city there. You heard the reports. We are proud of all of you, and of course Steve Baker as a trustee of MML. Sometimes residents don't always understand the importance of that role and the power vested in people who lead all of the cities of our state. And you couldn't imagine a more competent, thoughtful, and deliberate mind to be there. We're very proud, Steve, of all you've done for our state, but what you've done for our city in bringing our city to prominence in such an important way. So we're very thankful for that. We learn about best practices through MML, the things that are successful, as Councilmember Blanchard was talking about, just a very simple and creative idea, that the people could save $70,000 by doing this thing themselves. I mean, these are the ideas, the still small ideas that Councilmember Baker was talking about. Every little idea counts. And we would like to create a community in which every little idea is valued so that people can express those ideas, and maybe combinations of different ideas will produce newer, fresher, and creative ways to do the things we've been doing in the past, in older ways. So I'm thankful for the creativity, the imagination that everybody brings to this table and to this community. We need all our minds working well to be creative and imaginative going forward. And on that thought, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn by Councilmember Stedman with support by Councilmember Kideckel. Ms. Boucher, would you please call the roll?
Stedman?
Yes.
Turbrack?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Blanchard?
Yes.
Edgar?
Yes.
Kadeco?
Yes.
O'Dwyer?
Yes.
Thank you.
The October 20th meeting is adjourned.
Your pass
Thank
is
you.
down with your stuff.